My name is Yona Nimmer, and welcome to the Amazon Playbook, where we dive deep into the strategies and stories behind the most successful brands on Amazon. In our upcoming episodes, we'll be sharing conversations with key partners who have been instrumental in growth of brands like Biogens, Batchwell, and Ray-Bans. This episode today is brought to you by Amazon Growth Lab. At AGL, we help brands on Amazon achieve explosive growth with a focus on organic visibility. Andy, I know you and I have been working together for a little bit of time. And I was really excited to see that when we started working together, your new Ray-Ban bundles they were launching were doing roughly 200K a month. I'm stoked that we were able to get it to almost 850K a month in a similar ACOS. And I'm excited to get to a point where, we'll hit the $3 million mark too, which I have no doubt we'll get to.
Thank
And
you.
if you're
Thank you for having me here, and thank you for your team to taking our business to the next level.
we're just getting started, man. We're in our
Yeah.
infancy. So
Mm,
just for the viewer, if you're looking to take your Amazon presence to the next level, let's make it happen and visit AmazonGrowthLab.com to learn more.
mm, Definitely. Thank you.
So before introducing today's guest, I just want to give a quick shout out to John from Biogens. Biogens has this new incredible technology when it comes to ensuring that you don't get mosquito bites. I
Yeah.
would definitely check them out on Amazon. I know myself, every time I go on a camping trip, I just get completely attacked. And it's really changed my life. You struggle with mosquito bites at all, Andy?
Yeah, actually, I hate mosquito bites. So usually, you spray it on your body, and uh, I think there's a brand called A1. So I actually took notes to look at Biogens on Amazon.
That's amazing. I'll talk to John and and I'm sure we'll get you a free product.
Okay,
Just
thank you so
thank
much.
you for being on here.
Yeah, thank you.
So a little intro of Andy. Andy Ollie is the CEO of eShades and is the official largest Amazon dealer of Ray-Bans. That is wild that you got there. I know that you're also a wholesale buyer of Gucci, Tom Ford, Oakley, the list goes on and on. Uh, Somehow everything you touch on Amazon just turns to gold.
Exactly.
Before we even just get to the modern day, I'm curious, when did eShades begin and how did the vision even like come to being?
E-Shade started actually in 2004 on eBay, 2004, 2003, uh, with a hangout in my apartment. It was a small get together with friends. So how I started was my family was into a luggage business, and you know how you get those the travel belts when you travel and you put your passports and money into it. So w- I was at the store managing the store over the weekend, and one of the representative came in, and he was giving us a sales seminar, and at the end of the seminar he had those extra travel belts, and he gave it to me. And he said, you know what, I don't have a need of them. You just keep them or whatever you want to do with them. So I brought those uh, travel belts, you know, uh, home. And at that time, eBay was taking, it was not going wild, but it was a new thing at that time.
What year is this, just for context?
Uh, we're talking about 2004,
Okay,
2003,
cool.
20 years ago.
Yeah, this is
So
basically when the idea of online sales, no one really understood. There was
exactly,
no real thought of that being a place to buy an item.
exactly. Uh, at that time, believe it or not, USPS uh, was not even allowing packages to be shipped online. You have to go to the post office to ship the packages. I think they came in right at that time or something happened, because I still remember that when we used to package a box, we will take it to the post office, stand in the line for 1 hour, and then like hand over the packages to them.
And you
So
would do this all yourself.
yeah, I mean, it was me, and so listen to the story. So I was going to school uh, for bachelor's in accounting, and I had a roommate. He was into mechanical engineering. So I brought those security belts back home, and I put it on eBay. So I still remember those belts probably retail for like $10 or $8, something like that. And we sold all 5 of them in 2 days for the same retail price or maybe a buck higher than that. Or like, so so the same weekend we had a small get together with my friends, and I told my friends, hey, uh, you heard of eBay? And he said, yeah, man, you can buy and sell stuff over there. I said, yes. I said, I sold those travel belts over there, and then, and I sold them close to retail. And my friend, who's actually a city planner in the city of Calexico right now, he told me, oh, wow, just imagine if you had thousands of those belts. The moment the words came out of his mouth, I knew after hearing that that's what I'm going to do the rest of my life. Because in that age, he made a, you know, he just like, certain time, a word of wisdom comes out of your mouth and he gives you a total life perspective. So the thing came out, hey, if you have thousands of those, what happened? You could have made thousands of dollars. So, so I was completely lost in that on his words, and I was not paying attention what other things they were talking about. My mind was like multiplying in the future. So I think that get together last like probably 1 a.m. at that night. So while my a couple of friends were leaving, I go to my friend whose name is George, and I told him, man, thank you so much for giving me that tip. And he's like, what tip? And I said about that eBay. So he didn't understand, but the word came out of his mouth, but he already gave me, the idea what I wanted to do. So that's where e-shit started, out of a conversation and out of an investment of $100. And, we started on eBay and then technically, stabilize ourselves. It was doing pretty good at that given time. You know what I mean? The second year, I think the first year we did like a revenue of like probably $150,000, and then we double it every year. Pretty much it would double, triple. Then after 5, 6 years, then Amazon started. I never liked Amazon initially because it's all about uh, pricing. You're not able to edit the listing. Whoever has the lowest price under one listing, they win the buy box, and technically, you sell it. So it's mostly like, even if you do advertisement on the listings, uh, you're not going to get the buy box. It's all about lowest pricing and your feedbacks. So anyway, we did that, and
So just for context, I know you said you doubled every year,
yes,
20 years ago.
yes.
So, what's been the best year that you've done in revenue? And yeah, what percentage of that was on Amazon versus other platforms?
So we did not start Amazon until 2010.
Cool.
So 7 years straight, we did only eBay. That's how the journey was. So and we were only doing business on eBay. Because we even it still today we don't sell it on our own website. I think it's the business we are in. We sell designer brands. We don't have to advertise those. Those are already companies have millions and millions of dollar budgets, and so we have no need to sell it on their on our own website. So we strictly Amazon, eBay, and this is it. So so we did that. Roughly, we started like $150,000 in revenue, and now our total revenue on Amazon and eBay is roughly at 45 million. That's how much we do on the yearly basis.
Okay, so, you've obviously come a long way. For starters, the night that you probably were drinking a couple beers with your buddy in college, the
Yes.
best ROI that anyone's ever seen. You're spending $40 on drinks for you and your friends to get
Exactly.
$45 million in return. It's not too
Yeah.
bad.
That's how everything starts, right?
Totally. Are you at a point in your career where you're like, wow, I've made it? And um, like, I know obviously you have a new vision of where eShades is going to go. At one point in time, you were just focusing on, um, having the lowest price on the buy box. And recently, you now want to own your own listings and create bundles, which we'll get to in a moment. But, you've already built a business that's doing $45 million a year. Do you feel like you've made it in your career? Do you feel like you're just getting started? Um, yeah, what comes to mind when I ask that?
So, there's two things to look at it. One is a revenue base, and one is uh, business based fulfillment, where you are satisfied. After creating these bundles, the businessman inside, you know what I mean, is fulfilled. You have, you call it stability. And since you met with your company and you help us out to take your bundles to the next level. What bundle is you those are your proprietary listings. No one else can come in. You are the owner, and then technically you put the advertisement on them and you take it to the next level. And even smaller brands,
Just to
when they
explain it to the viewer so they understand. Initially, you're just selling Ray-Ban sunglasses.
exactly,
Then you realize, oh, anyone can sell these Ray-Ban sunglasses, and if they sell it for a lower price, I lose the buy box and I lose my sales. So it's a
exactly,
constant bidding war.
exactly,
So the new idea is, okay, let me now take Ray-Ban cleaning kits and Ray-Ban glasses containers, like cases, and let's also just put in our own eShades cleaning kit in there along with the sunglasses, and now no one else can own the listing other than eShades.
exactly.
What do you think how did you come up with that idea? Is that just an idea you had in the shower? You meet up with your college buddy again, or where did that come from?
No, it comes with an experience. Like, I never liked doing business on Amazon from the get-go, but the volume was too high. Remember at the beginning of the conversation, I told you that every seller sells sells the product under one listing, and it's all price conscious. The lowest price get the buy box. I think what Amazon is getting, if you want to do business on Amazon and you want to be profitable, I think first you need to have some sort of exclusivity. Like the brand you mentioned, uh, the the Biogens. You know what I mean? They have their own product. They can advertise. They can hire your company to take the brand to the next level. So they have some sort of exclusivity, and they have exclusivity, and then they can put advertisement dollars into it, and they can build the brand. So by engaging your company with our business, that you're building our own exclusive catalog, and that's what I look at every single day, because that's where it gives you a future satisfaction, stability, and you feel like you will be in business for a longer period of time. Even 2 years ago, uh, revenue in business, you want to have more, more, more. That's pretty much that's a typical businessman. Hey, you want to double from here, you want to triple from here. That's pretty much what it is. So I'm not going after the revenue. The revenue which I have, I'm happy, and and I want to have like a organic growth, small growth, but a long term growth. A certain time you're in business, you push the level to the last level, but that revenue is not sustainable for a longer period of time. That's not the business is done. If you grow 3%, 4%, 5%, you get to that point, 10%, you know, it's perfect. Yeah, if you're growing 200% like your company did, uh, you know, And if it's, but we did grow 200%, like, after we did the bundles, but it's stable. I mean, every month we are doing the same amount of sales. Certain time you grow, and after 2 months the business goes down. You know what I mean? So not interested in that. It needs to be, you have to maintain it for the longer period of time.
Yeah, it makes sense. And this is something that I see that a lot of brand owners struggle with, where they have one day of really good sales and they're over the moon, and then there's one day of poor sales and they start freaking out that their business is falling apart, as opposed to, you know, the more holistic approach of looking at it from an aerial view. So, you obviously seem like someone who's extremely goal oriented. Do you have
Yeah.
a vision in mind of, hey, with this new strategy of how you're bringing Ray-Bans and Oakley, Tom Fords, and all these brands to Amazon now with your own listings? What do you think the potential is? Like, what's your goal of, um, yeah, from a revenue perspective, what you want to bring it to from a monthly basis? What do you think is conservative? What do you think is a stretch goal?
I think I see these bundles. Uh, I want my bundles to do 50% of the revenue. That's pretty much what it is. That's a long-term goal. But if we get to 25% of our total revenue, like, $8 million in business, for the, and that'll be good too.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, how did you even like stumble across going from belts to suddenly selling designer items? Why did you choose designer items? And how did you even get the relationships to get good prices?
So start after that travel belts, I do it was a luggage store business, a travel luggage store. So mostly I was selling all the luggage item, like all the brands. I was always into the brands, like, Travel Pro, Samsonite, all that thing. At that point, all these luggage companies never charge dimensional weight. Like, if you are sending a big box, the box is 15 pounds, but once you ship it through UPS or DHL, that 15-pound box is like 28 inches, like, the big check-in size. Like, if you ship that check-in size from California to New York, it's going to cost you like $120 to ship. They charge you like technically 140 pounds. It's called a dimensional weight. If they don't charge the dimension weight, the 15 pound is going to cost you like $15. You get my point?
Totally.
So at that time, there was no dimensional weight. So it was actually whatever, as big the package is, whatever how much it weighs, you ship it out, and that's pretty much it. So I think after the recession, 2007 and 2008, all the companies switched to dimensional weight.
Mm,
So then I like overnight, it was not sustainable. That was the one thing. And second thing, we was running, our eBay business out of our apartment. And pretty much, at one given time, we didn't have a room to sleep. You know what I mean? And all the apartment was filled up with the stuff. So what do we do? I say, you know what? And you got to understand, we are this young person. So let me go back a little bit. So my friend who was doing mechanical engineering in Cal Poly University, and he was I reached out to him. I said, dude, you just work with me part time. You know what I mean? In helping me out, on eBay. He said, yeah, I do that. He's a white guy, very, his name is Chris, and he started working part time here. After 6 months, he comes to me. He said, I need to talk to you. I said, yeah. He's like, I quit school. I said, what do you mean you quit school? I said, I want to do this the rest of my life. And even still today, he's with me. It's been, it's been 25 years January. It's 20 years.
wow, that's beautiful.
So that's pretty much it. Then we left everything, and I said, you know what? So he's the one. I was still, you know, taking semi-serious. Pretty much all the money was coming in, the profit was coming. We were working hard. We didn't know what we were doing. I mean, technically, we were working hard and partying hard. It was never a career thing at that time. Some sort of a career, but you have that excitement that you're doing something and you're getting rewarded for it. But once you are
Totally.
young, you're not that career oriented. You're like technically, let's see where it goes. You know what I mean? You take day at a time. The moment he told me this, it's really stuck. I said, man, this thing is getting serious. And I have to take it serious because this guy is living his career. He wants to do it, and what am I doing, right? so so he gave me a vision. I thought, okay, you know what, this is the time for me to get serious. So at that time, I said, we have to go to a different commodity which is small. So I said, what should I do? At that time, they launched Overstock.com. At Overstock, they were selling some designer sunglasses, and I still remember it was a Dolce and Gabbana piece. So I bought some Dolce Gabbana, uh, you know, glasses, and I bought three of them. So I was at that time I got engaged, and I thought like, I buy three glasses, I give one of my sunglasses to my fiance, and I sell two of them, which will cover the cost of the first one. So as a businessman, I don't have to pay for that gift, right? So I bought those three, and I put the t- I put two. I bought those two glasses from Overstock. I put it on eBay, and I made like extra $30 profit. I still remember even paying for the third pair. I said, this is the glasses I have to go after. I said, it's a small commodity. And I was not thinking long term. I was thinking like, hey, you know what? We can still run this business from apartment because we're very young. So I reach out to the company. I said, Dolce and Gabbana is based out of Italy. So I get a calling card. I call them and send them an email that I want to sell your product. So they have a head office, another head office in New York. After 2 days, I get a call from this guy. Hey, you know what? Reach out to us, and what's going on? I said, well, I want to sell your product. He said, do you have a store? I said, yeah, I want to sell online. He's like, what is that? I said, online. I heard about that. A lot of people are doing it. And he said, well, our minimum order is 50 pieces. I said, okay. And he said, you have to pay for upfront. I said, okay. So I said, but I was hesitant to pay it upfront. He said, if it does not sell, I will take it back for you, but initially you have to pay it back. You have to pay up for it. I said, okay, that's fine. But I ordered 40 glasses. They got delivered. At that time, we used to take pictures of every single stuff by ourselves. So there was no technically there was no pictures available. So we put those glasses on eBay. So I bought 50 glasses. So usually in the store, if you order 50 glasses, they check with you on every month basis how much you sold, right? Still remember, we got the glasses on Tuesday. We worked overnight and we put all the glasses on eBay with the pictures. By Sunday, we sold 30 pairs. You know what I mean? Out of 50.
Were you
So next
shocked?
month, that's when I decided that's what I want to do the rest of my life, and glasses is my commodity, right? Instantly. So I go call on Monday. He
Did
said,
you end up putting down to buy the 40 pairs of sunglasses?
I think it was at 25% off. Back then the pricing was not that. If you put 10% off, 15% off, 25% off, I mean, you're getting the sales. So at that time, there was no competition. There was no Amazon. You know what I mean? It was only eBay. So I called my representative. His name was Randy Tillner. And he's like, hey, did you get your shipment? I said, yeah, yeah. He said, good, good, good. I said, I need to order more. The guy's like, what? What do you mean you need to order more? I said, I sold 30 pieces. Okay, so this one, at
How did he
I call him.
respond?
Listen, at 10 a.m., he said, we need to meet for lunch. When do you want to meet? He said, I want to meet today. Let's have a lunch right away. So he comes in. He said, are you serious? You sold 30 pairs? I said, yes. I placed an order for 100 units. And usually 150 units a retail store sells in 1 year or 200 pieces. And we we were ordering like technically, at least like 500 units of that brand per month, and we became his largest account like technically in 3 months, and we were doing like 50% of his business because at
No
that
one else was selling these glasses online at the time.
no see at that time a lot of people were selling it, but we will take an extra effort to create our listings the same way you are doing it for us. You see a value. Once you have a listing and it creates a brand environment, and and you can at the end of this podcast, you can show this to people what is the regular Ray-Ban listing looks and what your company created. They will see a differentiation. They will see a confidence, and you will be tempted to buy other listing even if it's $10 to $15 more expensive because they know it's authentic. It's just pop. You put some bells and whistles to it. You give a confidence to a customer, they need all the information. So that's pretty much what it is. So we took an extra mile. We provided all the dimensions. Our pictures were like, super. We were taking the pictures of inside the temple where it shows the product is made in Italy, the UPC numbers. I mean, we gave them A to Z every single thing. So even we were selling our product $10 to $15 more expensive than our competitor. We were not the lowest one. In certain cases, we were in a mid range. Like, if we are, this 10 sellers are selling, we were number 5, but we were getting our sales because at the same time, we want to be profitable. It was, and
And were you
bringing,
running ads on eBay at the time or no?
so eBay at that time was not ad driven, it was feedback driven. Once you have a good listing and you have a good feedback and your gallery pictures looks pretty good, because eBay does not give you a standard picture. Maybe they do right now, but at that time you have to you have to upload every single picture. So your gallery picture will tell you A to Z every single thing. You know how you
Sure.
create a gallery picture for us where we put in the Ray-Ban, kit with it. So it differentiates us from other people. So that's
Mhm.
where how, you know, first you need to have differentiation. The quality should be there. And nowadays you need to have advertisement. That's what
So
your company provide on all three levels.
at this point in time, you're basically, you're engaged, you're still a kid, you don't really know what you're doing, but you're kind of stumbling into success.
Yeah.
Um, at what point in time do you have a vision that this is really a real company that you're growing as opposed to just a fun side hustle?
Because of the volume, obviously the volume was going big. And once the volume goes big, you need to create more infrastructure. Once you create an infrastructure, I know you have to sign leases and stuff. So then it's a long-term expense. Once you have a fixed cost coming into a business, in any business, once you have a fixed cost where you have to pay your employees on a monthly basis, no matter what, however your business is, then you take it seriously. So
Mhm.
it gets into a phase. Once you start something, you're not 100% sure you want to do that for a longer term, but then it gets mature day by day, and then
And
you into it.
did you have any like mentors that like helped you out along the way? Is this all 100% self-taught? Because at this time, a lot of people now, when they want to sell online, they go to YouTube and they get educated. You're doing it at a point in time where there is no playbook.
The online business is much more easier right now. You find mentors online, you do that. We did it everything by ourselves. We created Once we started doing this thing, there were no examples. We made an example to us. I mean, like you go, oh, how do you do this? And there's no way because you don't get answers at that time. So
Of course.
even still today, I don't watch YouTube video. You just have to do your own numbers and what makes economic sense. And you see, this business is a custom made business for everyone. Everyone has different goals. You know what I mean? The infrastructure is different. The financial situation is different. So you can scale the business to whatever level you want it to be. Person wants to be like, hey, we don't want to risk that much money into it. We want to start with this phase. The .com business is for people who wants to invest 100,000, $100 or $1 million. You know what I mean? That's pretty much is which route do you want to go.
Hmm.
But the end goal is one, to be profitable and something for a long term.
Do you have other friends now that are in the marketing space? Like, do you act as almost like a mentor to other people, or are most of the people you know not in e-commerce?
No, I mean, to be honest, I keep it on the low side. And uh, uh, if there was any other person, you know what I mean, who would have asked me to do a podcast, I wouldn't have done it. But you're a business partner, I couldn't say no to you.
That's very, very,
Right.
very sweet.
Yeah, so that's pretty
What?
much what.
So I know you talked about the fact that we're partnered together. Um, what made you decide to get external help? Like up until now, you've done everything internally, right? It sounds like you and Chris have pretty much built the whole infrastructure on your own. Why get to the point where you even want to work with an agency?
So, like I said, I think I should have gotten the agency before, but I didn't have anything exclusive where I think it would have justified my investment. Like if you go to the regular listings, we like Ray-Ban or Oakley, the brands which we sell. If you optimize our listings, pretty much there's no optimization because we are selling it under. We won't be able to change anything on Amazon because we are not the owner of that listing.
Of course.
So when I decided this, when I convinced the company to let me do the Ray-Ban bundles, first, it's so hard to do the bundles on Amazon. It took me like 5 years to figure that thing out. Still, like we try to do bundles for other brands, they don't allow. So I really have to convince Ray-Ban, uh, you know, beside, that you have to give us that opportunity. And once we convince them, then there's the one thing which we didn't learn about advertisement, which we never did. And advertisement is not, our cup of tea first. We know how to sell the product, infrastructure. I think you have to be very educated on doing advertisement. And if you want to do it by yourself, it will take you 2 years just to learn the basics of it. And we don't have that much time. And so I said, at that given point, one thing we started doing advertisement, but it was not to the. It's a boring category to me. I mean, it's technically, to be quite honest, that's another
Were you
thing. So
doing it yourself initially?
yeah, initially we did a little bit with my Amazon account manager, but it was like I think it's way too much hectic and way too much time. So So I was looking for some, advertisement company, and I reached out to my Amazon account manager. He said, you know what we should do. I interviewed one person, not that much excited, and then I interviewed another company, didn't like it. Then your reviews were pretty strong, and we read your reviews on your website or with my Amazon account manager. I said, this is the company we should talk to. And you know, then I spoke to you. You are like technically the one we think really liked that you didn't say like, hey, you know what, let me take you as a client. He said, I want to study your account first, what you are all about. You wanted to understand the business first. So which I like. I said, well, this can turn into a partnership where he wants to know what it is. You don't want to take me as a client, just whatever. If you cannot perform, you want to take your time and do some due diligence, and then technically, you you you, you understand what my goal was, where I am, and then technically after that, you look at the total, yeah, our Amazon account scenario, and then you come up with then we talked, and then how we started, and then you brought in like some clawback stuff on our Amazon account. He said, you know what, we were doing it by ourselves, but we were not getting that much refunds from Amazon. And he said, let me handle that. We figure out a plan, and the one thing which I told you, I want something long term.
So
Yes, sir.
just so that people know what clawbacks are you able to explain, um, yeah, what clawbacks are and what your experience was when doing it on your own versus when working with us?
So clawback is the hidden uh, refunds which Amazon does not automatically provide it to you. For example, once you send the shipments in to Amazon, you send them 20 pieces, and Amazon only received 18 pieces in their system, and they say they never received those 20 pieces. So the clawbacks team does, they reach out to Amazon, they say, you know what, we shipped out, 20 pieces, and these are the invoices, and you have to give us a credit. They look at it, they open up the cases for you. Then Amazon say, we don't have it, you have to send us more invoices, you ship these items in the other shipment, and this and that. So their team does take care of the whole thing. And after that, Amazon will give you credit on those two pieces which are missing. So, and if you're a high volume, uh, you know, uh, seller, roughly like, we get $50,000 to $60,000 worth of refunds from Amazon, which we were doing it by ourselves. We were getting 20 to 25,000. Jonah and I need to bring in Ethan here, who is our go-to person, and he's our account lead, account manager. We work with different companies with AGL. We have a main account manager, then we have a brand manager, and then you have the advertisement people underneath it. So we communicate with like 6, 7 people in AGL team, you know what I mean, to take care of our thing.
I
So
found
go
it
back.
funny, with most people, we're like, hey, by the way, Andy, like, over the past few months, we got you back like 300K that Amazon overcharged you. Most people would be over the moon. And you're just like, oh, nice, nice, cool, that's great, thank you. Let's just send over the documents. Uh, and that's just an illustration of the size that you've grown to, right? Where
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a lot of sellers, 300K, it's like that's a lot of money. And for you, it's like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, that's nice that we got that back, thank you. And I always found that comical.
So like I said, uh, there are certain things, especially in business, you want to hear thanks from their mouth, and there's certain things also come with loyalty and a long-term friendship. You know what I
Totally.
mean? That's pretty much, I'm on that side of a person. Maybe I don't acknowledge a lot of stuff, but hey, there's certain people like technically you don't talk to like 10 years, and you call them, hey, I I can still count on you, right? And there's a certain friend you won't even have to call them. You're like, they're gonna be there. Like, you put someone as a reference. Okay, you know what? Obviously, if even they will already know. I don't have to explain that to him. So, especially in business, the business is done on this one principle. You don't worry about what you're making now. It always worried about what can you do in the future.
Long-term value.
Long-term value, certain people go for the short-term profit, and they forget about the, long-term loss. It's always about the long-term profit and short-term loss. That's what business is. So what we are doing, especially on these bundles right now, when we sat down, it was actually a huge investment on our side, and you were loud and clear that, hey, you know what, maybe we don't pull profit in the first year, and we have to do all this advertisement and this and that. We are doing some revenue. So as once once we take you as a partner, then technically we are in. You know what I mean? We make mutual decisions. Whenever I need to do so on my account, or even I always ask your people feedback. Hey, you know what? There's so many times, you know what I mean? I reach out to Ethan, our brand manager, Asif. Hey, what do you think? Even like a technically, the person who upload the pictures and who take care of the pictures, his name is Suleiman. I said, Suleiman, what do you think, man? Technically, what should we do? You know what I mean? It's always good to, get all the feedbacks, and then technically, it helps you make a decision. That's how it is.
Makes sense. So what has been the highlight of working together thus far?
First, your whole team is on point, and I think they communicate at the same pace with each other when they are not. So whoever you go to, very organized. And one thing also in you, that you work on every level, so technically what customer needs are. There's certain person comes in, and then they haven't worked at the beginner level. You know what I mean? So they don't know what customers needs are. So your company is organized on every single thing. They know what they're doing, and they understand where we can save money, and where we can where we can make more profit.
So
So
do you see yourself down the line? Obviously, right now you're doing eBay, you're doing Amazon. Do you see yourself getting on Walmart? Do you see yourself getting on Target Online? Um, what other marketplaces do you see yourself entering into, or is Amazon really just the focus right now?
I think we can easily double our business on Amazon. And Amazon has 60% of the market share. If you did not tap, if you go to the other marketplaces, you can, but you need to go with your full potential on this Amazon first, especially these bundles. I mean, what I have planned with some different brands and stuff. I mean, we will be busy for another 2 years. And to be
Hmm.
honest, I want to make this thing work completely. You know what I mean? Then we take it to the next level. Now, we order Tom Ford bundles. We are doing Saint Laurent bundles. We are doing after the Michael Kors bundle. Then Oakley is coming in. I mean, Oakley is as gigantic as Ray-Ban. They're the two brands, like, Ray-Ban and Oakley. I mean, we see, we are only talking about Ray-Ban bundles because that's our prime focus. Just imagine we have Gucci. Gucci, now we are selling 20 pieces, 30 pieces a day. Technically, 30 pieces multiplied by 350, 10,500. We are doing $300,000 in Gucci bundles now per month.
Hmm.
So all those things come in play. One brand sells more, other brands sell less, but you take a overall, you know, uh, thing, then technically it's a different ball game. Maybe Oakley bundles do better than Ray-Ban, and we only talk about the Oakley at that time. Oakley is a very gigantic brand. It's a worldwide
What
brand.
what drives you to keep building the business? Like, is it lifestyle that you want more money? Is it a matter of like it's almost gamified and it's just like a game of like can you make the number go up? Like what drives you to still be here and work on this every day?
Because you created that business by yourself, and uh, the drive to keep going once you have a baby, like it's a part of you. This business is part of you when you're working for yourself. And a lot of people will agree, they were not taught like how you do these things. Some people do it differently. It's a big university. So once you create something by yourself, you're very emotionally attached to it. So I think that's
Mm.
the drive I have. You know what I mean? I'm going. Like, I give an example. You're doing Ray-Ban bundles, and then you're you're working with the Biogens company, right? So you kind of created, and you are a part of that brand, and you're a part of that story, and you can talk about it. So that's the same motivation I have.
Said really well. Words of wisdom. Cool. So final question before we close this out. And I guess even before we get there, I'm curious: is there a place that, if anyone wants to reach out to you, is there a place that they should look you up or contact you, or um, also no pressure if you want to stay hidden in the shadows and don't want to be disrupted, no problem there too.
I'd rather have them come through you. You can give your phone number, right? And if you think,
I love it. Well, if anyone
if,
wants to reach out, my email
yeah,
is
reach
Yona.
out to you, and then technically, if you think the person, you know my personality, you know my mood, you know my work schedule,
And
so let
Andy,
me come.
Andy needs the funnel.
Yeah. So have it come through you, and then technically you let me know this
Perfect.
person is going to be reaching out to you, and I will take care of it.
That's great.
All right.
If anyone wants to get in touch with Andy, there's a two-step verification process where you need to go through me first. So
Yeah.
reach out to Yonah, Yonah, at AmazonGrowthLab.com. And Andy, final question for you. I'm not sure if you're much of a reader, but I'm curious if you have any books that you recommend that have been pivotal in, yeah, getting you to be the successful business owner that you are.
You know, the motivational quotes are very important. Usually, once you read the books, it's one story, but read motivational stuff where technically, uh, you know, motivational quotes really help me. I like reading those. We tell you, a taste of life. It's all about
Hmm.
life. So, so hardly whatever time you have now, Mr. Google is like where you can find the motivation. But so if you even try to have whatever free time you have, and you read those, send a motivational quote about business, motivational quotes about personal. It's all about organization. You have to organize your life first in order to be successful. So it all comes in play. The routine and decision making skills are very important. Always never ever make a sudden decision in your life. Every single time if you remember, when we were technically in negotiations and we were talking about like developing a business together, never gave you a yes right at that moment. I told you, give me a couple of days, let me think about it, I will get back to you.
That was back when I
Right?
was harassing you on a weekly
Yeah, so
basis.
I was taking my time. So this is the thing, never ever make a sudden decision. And whenever you make a decision, then don't even listen to yourself. You cannot change that decision. So technically, you made a decision, take your time. But certain time people get confused and they call it like buyer remorse. Hey, you know what? You already did it, and this is it. So take your time to make a decision. Whenever you think about a decision, you always make that decision better. That you know the answer, but you will implement it in a better way.
Hmm. Well, thanks for coming on the show today, Andy. I really appreciate it.
No
Once
problem.
again,
Anytime.
Andy from eShades. He is the largest seller within Amazon when it comes to Ray-Bans and many other top designer brands. And we're really lucky to have you.
No problem. Thank you. Good luck on your podcast, and hope to talk to you again. Bye bye.